So now back to Kathy Newman in Kigali.
Well, I've been travelling with the actress Angelina Jolie in her other role as UN Special Envoy for Refugees. And she's come here to East Africa with the Foreign Secretary, William Hague, to try and galvanise governments around the world to tackle war zone rape. And nowhere is this more of a problem than just over the border in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was called by the UN the rape capital of the world. And 200,000 people have been raped there since 1998. Well, today we travelled to two camps in the east of the country set up to shelter people fleeing the fighting. There, Angelina Jolie and William Hague spoke to women who had survived rape and other forms of sexual violence, meted out by both the M23 rebels who occupied Goma last year and government troops. And we're now over the border in Rwanda, a country which the UN says is making the conflict worse by funding the M23 rebels. Well, Angelina Jolie and William Hague join me now. Angelina Jolie first. The camps we went to today, the women described there how they feared that if they went out that they would get raped. Some of them had been raped when they went out to collect firewood and food and so on. And I spoke to one woman who had been raped in the camp. The international community is really failing these women, isn't it?
Yes, it's been failing these women for a very long time. And I'm one of the reasons I've been traveling to these parts of the world for a long time, and we often find temporary solutions. We talk a lot, but it's not often that you find somebody who is working on an initiative that is so much about finding the solutions and finally putting an end to this. And I know it sounds like a big dream, but it's absolutely due time, and I think it is possible to put violence against women and rape as a crime of war as absolutely the center of what we must tackle, and these women need our help.
You're here with the UK government, clearly. The US government, Hillary Clinton, put this as part of the centre of her government in 2009, and yet nothing really happened. I mean, what makes you so confident that something can be done?
Well, I think often people approach these situations with, looking at it in one way or the other, one angle or the other, and this is a very comprehensive approach of supporting the victims, working with all of the local NGOs and UN organizations and anybody on the ground, local governments, to help these women, but above all, to help to collect evidence and to really try to bring these situations and these. For example, what is happening in Syria. We want in the years to come, we want there to be evidence that is from what is happening right now to be brought to the trial, and to see persecutions. And we won't have that unless we're collecting the evidence today. So this is being done, and there are many new things being done for a very comprehensive approach.
William Hague, there was a glimmer of hope in recent days, wasn't there, when the M23 leader, Bosco Ntaganda, handed himself over to the US Embassy here in Rwanda. You've just been speaking to the Rwandan president. Have you managed to extract any promises about bringing the other M23 commanders to justice?
Well, certainly the president of Rwanda and the Rwandan government are very supportive of our whole initiative on preventing sexual violence in conflict. They have cooperated with the transfer just this week, as you say, of General Bosco Ntaganda to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. So those are positive steps. And now we need many more countries to take positive steps. We can do something about this, as you've just been discussing. It now is an opportunity to move world opinion and action about this, and we can do that not only in the eastern DRC, as we've just seen, but also in many other parts of the world. This is the monstrosity of this century, that systematic rape takes place as a weapon of war, as someone we may meet tomorrow has described it, and we have to do something about it.
But when you look at the women we met today, they're really struggling to survive, they're struggling to get food. How, in terms of standing up in a court of law and saying, yes, I will testify against this man who attacked me, that's surely got to be a long way down the line, hasn't it?
Well, I think we think of the reasons why they had to flee the area, and they fled so quickly. When you think of the amount of rebels on the ground and the amount of people that moved, they moved fast and they moved quick because they have a history of so much violence and so much abuse and so much rape. So these women didn't kind of sit around to be abused again, and what rape does isn't just what it does to the woman, but what it does to the family, what it does to the community. It breaks down the entire structure of the society. So I think we can't look at it as a separate issue. And we see that when you talk to these women, you know, they cannot move forward in their lives. Of course food, of course shelter, of course all of these things, and it doesn't, not one is more important than the other. But this is something that is not spoken about enough, and this is something we can make a big difference.
And in your dual role as a mother and a UN envoy, when you see those children running around in the mud barefoot today and babies born as a result of rape, what hope do you have for their future?
You have to have hope, and you have to be there to love them and think about ways to make their lives better, and focus on education and focus on ways to support their mothers to survive the stigma of rape and to help them to not carry the stigma of being children of rape. So I think we can't think about the problems, but only what we can do to help solve this.
Angelina Jolie, William Hague, thank you both very much for joining me, and we'll have more from East Africa later in the week. Back to you, John.